Hi, and welcome to Too Close to Home Crime. My name is Snow, and today we're going to be looking at a case that is too close to home. It happened right down the street from me, and if you're familiar with that Netflix documentary American Monster, this is relatively the same. So I'm going to insert a trigger warning here because it does involve children. Let's dig in and look at this case.
Clara was born in Baja California, Mexicali, Mexico in 1984. She attended Cobach Plantel, BC in Mexicali for high school. When she graduated high school, she went on to study management at the Autonomous University of Baja California campus in Mexico.
Now, I'm not sure if studying management was her thing, but soon after arriving to the university, she did leave shortly after. I've been there, done that. I've tried so many things. If it don't suit you, don't do it, right?
So this here is Jacob Foreman. Yeah. Jacob was born in Quesnel, BC, Canada in 1983. He attended School District 28 and graduated in 2001. After graduating high school, Jacob went to Mexico to attend a ministry involved in training aspiring pastors. During his stay in Mexico, Jacob met Clara.
Jacob and Clara met in November 2005. They started going on dates. She was a godly woman. He was a godly man. And they enjoyed each other. So what comes after dating and enjoying each other?
They got married. And after only knowing each other for 11 months, they felt like they've known each other for eternity. Their souls were entwined. Their love was deep.
And then they were young and in love. Everything was going great, and they decided to go back and move to where Jacob was from in Canada. So all the way from Mexico, all the way back up to cold Canada, and that's where they would start their life.
In 2007, Clara decided to make the long journey and leave everything she knew to start a fresh life with her new husband, Jacob. They flew all the way to Kelowna, BC, Canada. Kelowna is famous for being riddled with wineries and having copious amounts of fruit stands. It's one of the most sought-after tourist locations in Canada. A vacation in Kelowna is known to be filled with wine tasting, boating, and enjoying the beautiful hot weather while beaching.
Once they got to Canada, Claire became a cashier at the Great Canadian Superstore, and Jacob became a plumber at Ace Heating and Plumbing, and he slowly worked his way up to becoming a supervisor. So I guess you could say that the pastor thing didn't really pan out. No. Everything seemed to be going smoothly for the newlyweds. Clara was settling in nicely with her new life and her husband. Conversations of growing their family started to arise, and slowly after, they fell pregnant with their first daughter, Karina, who was born on February 14th, 2009, Valentine's Day.
This avid church-going family was happy and thriving with their new baby and busy lives. After having Karina in February 2009, they fell pregnant with Yesenia just 9 months later. Yesenia was born August 18th, 2010. Karina was so excited about her new baby sister, and their family was finally complete. They had the picture-perfect life.
Hey, what's your name? I'm Finna. Eat that. No, cause not. Go, Daddy. It's Mama. Daddy. Mom.
They traveled. They went to church every Sunday. Clara even became a fitness trainer at Good Life Fitness. The girls were homeschooled, and life was good. Or so it would appear. Jacob started to drink heavily, to the point where it was interfering with Clara's work and Jacob's work. But he kept insisting that he just liked to wind down on the evenings and weekends.
Obviously, Jacob's drinking infuriated Clara. She wanted her mentally stable, loving husband back, not this lush, boozer, unkept man that he was turning into. So she would harp on him, tell him to straighten up, or her and the girls were leaving and she would take them back to Mexico where she had a big support system. He would stop drinking for a couple days and she would be able to breathe again, but he was always revert back and start drinking.
So on December 17th, 2017, it's a Sunday, just a week before Christmas. So it's cold out, there's snow everywhere. The family is getting ready to go to church. Claire is with the girls, getting them all ready. Jacob is just sitting on the couch. She goes up to him, she says, "Hey, aren't you gonna start getting ready? We gotta leave soon." And he is just meh. Sure, I'll start getting ready. He stumbles on to the bedroom. Clara goes after him and she's like, "What's your problem? You should be happy." And he's like, "I haven't had a drink in 2 days and you're treating me like I've been drinking." And she's like, "Here we go." So she starts going in on him. "It's only been 2 days. I'm just waiting till you pick up another drink and continue on to your little bender." He is getting so frustrated. He's angry. They're in the bedroom. The girls are out in the living room waiting. So he sees a sledgehammer on the ground, a little one. Clara starts to walk out of the bedroom. He hits her in the back of the head with it. She grabs the back of her head, looks at him, and is like, "What are you doing?" He is just beside himself. So he hits her again, really hard though, really hard. She falls on the ground, starts twitching. He hits her again and again until she stops twitching. The girls hear their mom scream. They come running to the door, knock on the door. "What happened?" Jacob said to the girls. "Oh, your mom just saw a spider." So he's looking at his wife. She's not moving. Her eyes are still open. He picks her up, puts her into the bed, throws the blanket over her, walks out of the bedroom, closes the door, and says, "Come on, girls, get your jackets on. We need to go shovel the driveway."
Once he gets the girls outside shoveling the driveway, they start asking about Mom and where she is. He tells them that she isn't feeling well and won't be coming with them today. Once they're all done shoveling the driveway, he loads the girls up and proceeds to drive them to church.
Once they get to church and before the ceremony, you know how everybody likes to chit-chat and talk and see how the week went. People start asking Jacob, "Where's Clara?" And he tells them the same story he told the girls. "She isn't feeling well today, so she won't be coming." Okay, people just, that's normal. It's that time of year, people get sick, then the ceremony proceeds, communion, Eucharist, shit happens. Once it ends, Jacob starts helping fold up the chairs, put them away. Now they normally don't stay long. They kind of say their farewells and get going, but he was kind of just lingering. The girls were lingering. And I know when I was a kid and I was at church, I just wanted to get out of there. I was done. So they left at about 7 p.m. And when they get home, the girls just want to run and go see Mom, see how she's doing, tell them about church. Dad said, "No, your mom's feeling sick. You need to let her rest." Obviously, the girls are sad. So he puts them in the TV room and turns on some Netflix. And Jacob's mind is just racing, spinning with thoughts and what should I do? And he comes up with a plan.
Jacob decided to kill both of his daughters. He thought it would be better for them to go to heaven than to grow up in a world where Daddy had killed Mommy. Jacob then told his daughters that they were going to play a game that he used to play when he was a little boy. He first took his youngest daughter, Yessie, into her room, instructed her to stand on her head for a few minutes, then get up and raise her arms, causing her to pass out. He continued to choke her until her heart stopped. He used a toy horse, the kind with a head on a stick, to apply more pressure to her throat. After Yesenia was dead, he murdered Karina in the same way. He put his wife's body into a sleeping bag and his daughter's bodies into 2 large plastic containers and placed them in the garage. Jacob then loaded his gun and got ready to kill himself, but after hours of deliberation, decided otherwise. He went to work the next morning.
So on his way from work, he went to the store to buy cleaning supplies to clean up the blood stains from the master bedroom. Once Clara didn't show up to work on December 19th, the following Tuesday after Sunday, her coworkers called twice. The first time, Jacob said that she wasn't feeling well. The second time, he said that Clara left and took the girls. One coworker was like, this is kind of suspicious. Like, this is so not like Clara to act this way. Obviously, you go to work, you tell them your issues that's going on at home, you know, like work is like a little safe haven, talk about your issues. So they knew that their marriage was a little bit rocky anyways. So one coworker calls the police, asks to go over and do a wellness check. They haven't heard from her in a couple days. So the police go over, Jacob denies them entry, and Jess says, no, Clara left me and she took the girls. The police, they're like, this is sus. They ended up getting a warrant, did a whole big search, and found them in the garage where he had left them.
While one officer sits with Jacob, another is searching the home. It took 4 minutes for the officer to find his murdered wife. The officer comes running in the house, interrupting his partner, and tells Jacob, "Sir, you're under arrest for murder." Police then read Jacob his rights and ask him if he wants to call a lawyer. "No thanks," he replies. An officer brusquely asks Jacob, "Where are the children?" Jacob replies, "I don't know." "Yes, you do," the officer says. "Did you find Clara? What did you find? Please tell me," Jacob begs. The police don't answer.
Jacob is then taken to Kelowna RCMP station at about 7:30. He doesn't confess, and then he asks for a lawyer. Once he is taken to the jail, he has 3 separate interviews, one on December 20th and then 2 on December 21st. He doesn't say anything in those interviews either. And then on December 27th, he calls Kelowna RCMP from jail and he confesses. It was about a 5-minute phone call, and then the Kelowna RCMP go to the jail where he's being held and they have an interview with him and videotape him confessing. So you know how nothing is a secret in jail? Like, you can't write letters, you can't make phone calls without someone listening, reading. Before he called the police to confess, he had conversations with his pastor, he phoned his brother, he was sending letters to family friends. He did go to court and there was no jury. He said, "I am guilty, but not what you guys are saying for." What the fuck does that mean? What do you mean you're guilty, but not for what the Crown is saying? Because to me, you're guilty on all counts. All fucking counts.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. And we begin at the Kelowna courthouse, where a local man has been sentenced for killing his daughters and his wife, with the details of the grisly murders finally being revealed to the public. Our Claudia Van Emmerich is standing by at the courthouse where Jacob Foreman's sentence set a precedent here in BC. Claudia?
Doris, yes, thank you, and that is right. This is the first time in BC that consecutive sentence has been handed down to a person convicted of multiple murders. Now, when handing down that sentence, the judge called these murders horrific and ones that shock the entire community. At the center of it all, Jacob Foreman, who was sentenced here at the Kelowna courthouse today to 35 years in prison before any parole eligibility. 25 years for the murders, first-degree murders of both his daughters, 7 and 8 years old. Now, those sentences will be served concurrently, but that will be followed by a sentence, the second-degree murder of his wife, Clara. That's 10 years. So 35 years in total before he is eligible for any parole consideration. Now, because there was no trial, because there were guilty pleas involved here, this really was the first time that these details of these murders came out to the public, and I can tell you they are very disturbing. They were very difficult to listen to.
It's just, it's left a hole in all of our lives, in our hearts.
An emotional day for friends of Clara Foreman, a Kelowna mother who, along with her 2 daughters, 7-year-old Karina and 8-year-old Yesenia, were murdered just days before Christmas in 2017.
Clara was the most beautiful, warm, loving, kind. I can't find enough words to describe her. She was incredible.
So changes to the criminal code require that parole be served concurrently and not consecutively. In June 2023, Jacob applied to have his parole ineligibility for the 3 murders reduced in light of the new law. And you know Canada, we are so nice. And we just want everybody to know that we are sorry. So 3 judges granted it. They reduced his parole ineligibility by 10 years. So now he's able to apply for parole after 25 years. He's already been in there for 5 years. So in 20 years, he can be like, hey, I'm a different man. I'm changed. I know I killed my whole family, but let me go back into civilization so I can have a fucking drink.
Cheese. Wow, grandma. Say hello to your grandma. Cheese.
You gonna blow on your food?
So thank you for watching Too Close to Home Crime. Again, my name is Snow, and like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this. So I just want to have a little background story. I've always been really intrigued with true crime. I've loved it, watched it. It's like before I go to bed, true crime doc puts me to sleep. So when I decided to do this case intrigued me. I was drawn to this case. I never knew why, but during my investigations and like all my research and everything, when I saw a picture of their house, I was like, why does this house look so familiar? I just couldn't understand. And then I was like, I've been to this house. So I went through my marketplace messages, and I remember I bought a crock pot from this house in 2019. I've been in the kitchen. I've been right in the front door. So in the middle of my research, I was like, kind of creepy how I wanted this to be my very first case. And then I was like, that's a little too close to home. I know, cheesy, whatever, but it is what it is. I also want to send my condolences to the victims' family and friends. That must not have been easy to go through, and I'm sure the pain still lingers. Like, share, and subscribe, because I got so much more to offer. And who doesn't want to come along this journey with me? Like, are you in, or are you in the way? Anyways, my tea's getting cold. I gotta bounce.